My dad and I spent a lot of time watching different movies, sci-fi, fantasy, and so on, imagining how it would how it would feel, how it would be going to space ourselves. However, sometimes when you think about the future, you inevitably start thinking about the past, how it all began. It started with the long road from Africa to all the continents and corners of our Earth. The convenience of the first tool, the thrill of the first man-made fire, the wonder of the first wheel, the labors of domestication of plants and animals, the peaceful cities and empires of the Bronze Age, the long struggle from the first glimpses of truth to ingenious systematic theories, the treacherous path towards a just and moral society, to the eternal search for enlightenment, discoveries, explorations, conquests, all the fascinating stories and amazing art, the great people, the rulers, the makers, the dreamers, the saints, and even the villains. 6,000 years of recorded history and a numerous amount of petabytes of information. And then suddenly we realize it can all be lost forever unless we go to the stars, unless we find a new sun and a new planet to live on, and then another, until our civilization spreads on the whole galaxy, and then other galaxies. A simple choice between two roads. One leads to the death, not only for one person, which we always consider a tragedy, but to all people, to the whole humanity, and all future unborn children, and even our predecessors, who are long dead. For them it will be a second death, the death of dreams, the death of memory, the death of everything they consider to be good and worthy to live for. The second path leads to the virtual immortality of the human race and our civilization, or other innumerable cultures and civilizations that comprise our picturesque ancestry. Which path would we choose? By staying on Earth, by doing everything as we do it right now, we won't survive until the end of the century, much less to see a galactic empire of our own. I'm not saying our lifestyle damages and destroys our planet. I'm not saying we're not doing anything about it. I'm saying we're not doing enough. But even in the best case scenario, when we resolve all the humanitarian and ecological problems that we have right now, in the end, we will use up all the resources of our planet, and humanity will be doomed, unless we go to the stars. But we cannot go to the stars, not yet. We're not advanced enough, and something has to be done about that. We have to be creative. We have to invent more. We've made our first steps. They were significant, although made for wrong reasons, the reasons of war and personal enrichment. Those steps might not be big. Those steps are not big in the grand scheme of things. But we made them. The first sails to America and all the parts of our planet. The first flight in space, the first flight in the air. The first launch into space. The launches into the outskirts of our solar system. But then we almost stopped. We forgot why we were supposed to do it. And for the last 50 years, which if you consider is almost as much time as it took to evolve from flight to space exploration. For 50 years, we're confining ourselves to the nearest orbit of our planet, except for a few launches into the solar system with a few automatic probes to Mars and the moons of Jupiter and so on. But we can do much better. We can do it. I know it. First of all, the material aspect. For example, Egyptians, those who built the pyramids, the Egyptians, they They were spending at least 30% of their commonwealth to build them. They were committed to do it. And not just that, they wanted to do it. They were able to do it. And that counts for all the great wonders we know. The Taj Mahal, the Great Wall of China, the Machu Picchu city, and the Gothic cathedrals, you name it. They were all built because of commitment. People wanted to build them. People were able to build them. People were motivated to build them. Modern structures may look impressive, but that is due to our superior technology, not our commitment. We can build big structures, but we don't. Imagine we set up also 30% of all of our resources and assets for one big project. You cannot imagine that, because for the last few hundred years, humanity has not thought of anything like that. This is a diagram showing that what most countries use their resources for. This is the diagram for USA, but the same counts for Germany, for Australia, you name it. All the countries that have high GDP use their money they invest their money in mostly defense, and this is the science area, the space area. We got into a habit of using technologies that were invented long ago. The wheel, the sail, the plane, even space exploration. Yes, they were modified, made better, but they're still the same technology. Thinking of space exploration, have you ever thought of anything, have you seen anything new in the past 50 years? Anything that out of the ordinary? No, except for maybe the vertical landing of rocket boosters like on the Falcon Heavy by Elon Musk. That, people did not know how to do that in the 60s and 70s, except for maybe in movies. But the SpaceX has done it. SpaceX and a few more dreamers, only a few thousand. We have 7 billion people on this earth, and only a few thousand have managed to do this. Think about if it were a few million people doing it. What would have been then? Elon Musk does not read and watch sci-fi. He tries to live it. But this is not enough. We need more people. We need more people that would stop dreaming their dreams. We need people who will make their dreams. We need commitment. We need people to be creative and inventive. With enough resources, enough motivation, we can create something completely new, something we cannot imagine. But before that, before we can go to Mars, before we make that step, we need new equipment, new fuel, a new spacecraft, significant investments, and multinational support, and much more. But technologies and resources, even human ones, are not the biggest issue. The biggest issue is one question, only one question that could destroy this huge endeavor. Why are we going to Mars? Why are we doing it? For what purpose? What are we searching for? We started to develop aviation mostly because of the World War I, and rocketry because of World War II, and space exploration because of the Cold War. Now, so what can truly motivate humanity to go to Mars? I'm afraid of the answer humanity will give. But the answer I would like to think of is what I said in the beginning. The true preservation of our civilization, of pretty much everything we live for, treasure and honor, is possibly in one way, and one way only, through going to other worlds. Even if Mars is the most boring place in the whole universe, if it has no scientific meaning, if it has no mineral deposits, we still have to go there. Because we're not just going to Mars. This is our first step towards the whole universe with endless wonders and mysteries that it has. Thank you.